Welcome to the How Did Show, where interesting people answer the questions, how did I get here? And how in the hell did I get here? With your host, Donovan Corneets.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me on another amazing episode 1 of season 3, if you can believe that, of the How Did Show. And we're kicking off season 3 in a big way with today's guest. And let me tell you a little bit about my guest today. So my guest is currently a sports reporter and analyst with ESPN. She's a former 3-time All-American D1 soccer player that was just inducted into her college's Hall of Fame. She's also an author, motivational speaker, and the founder of a wellness and empowerment initiative called Planted, Not Buried. So y'all, show some How Did Show love for my dog, Renee Washington in the house. What's going on?
I love the intro. I feel like I'm about to run out onto the court and like it's game time. So
that's the whole point. I want you to feel like you could just like run through a brick wall right out of the gate. Big energy, because that's what we do here at the show. Thank you so much for being here. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I like that we're like low key in a really subtle way matching too. It's very minor.
Yeah, a little. Yeah, I
like
see
the
what
little
you're doing.
pops of, like I'm feeling it. But no, all is going well. There's been a lot of exciting things happening professionally and personally. So I can't complain. How about yourself?
I'm wonderful. I'm here talking to you right now, so it doesn't get much better than that. But yes, a lot of really exciting things going on. So I have nothing to complain about. I'm blessed. It's all good. So, but anyway, enough about me. We're going to get to you, the guest of the hour. So this is called the How Did Show, and that entails you answering a couple of questions. The first being, how did I get here? So let the wonderful people know, how did you become Renee Washington?
Well, it all started back in 1992. No. Honestly, it's crazy how I got here. And the story could be so long, but I'm going to give you the quicker version of the fact that not only was I an athlete and made that jump, but I also studied something completely different. So I studied public relations. I had a background in that with a double minor in Spanish and psychology. I was getting all these PR marketing types of internships and really thought that was the direction I was going. And I took a leap of faith. I found that I wanted more. And there were things about PR that I really enjoyed, like content creation, but there were things about it that I did not really like as much. And so as I was just navigating through trying to figure out what made most sense for me, I felt like it was too late. I felt like I was behind the 8 ball. Like everybody else, my other colleagues and classmates and peers were doing so much more than me at that time because I was so focused on PR and being a soccer player and playing professionally. So it wasn't until I fully had the chance to finish that all the way through, get that closure, that during my time as a graduate assistant, getting my master's at Lehigh University and coaching D1 soccer, that I was able to really figure out who I was as a person. And so through the grace of God, through just motivation, through persistence of trying to just get my foot in the door, I continue to get my foot into different doors and grow and learn and honestly learn every and anything. And I'm still learning. I just covered my first Ivy League men's swimming and diving championship, my first time ever covering swimming as a sideline reporter. I'm still learning, and I'm 6 years into the game officially as of this May. So how I got here, prayer, faith, hard work, a lot of setbacks, a lot of challenges, a lot of long days, including today, but also just a lot of just resilience. And I always said that my career as a reporter actually mimics a lot of my career as a soccer player. And I hope the end result does as well many years from now, but where I just was getting into something, trying all these different things, unsure about what really made sense for me, and it stuck. And it continued to grow and snowball from there, where I continue to learn about myself, my own talents, my capabilities. And one thing led to the next, much like in soccer. I went from just being unknown to figuring things out with each year. And that's how I am in reporting now. So a lot more growth to do, but I'm just really blessed and thankful that when I look back where I was May of 2016 to now, I am nowhere near that same person,
right?
In any aspect except for my name.
Yeah. Well, keep that going. Keep that going. Well, no, that's awesome. And I always love to hear stories about how people don't have a necessarily like straight line, point A, point B, career trajectory or life trajectory for that matter. And I don't really think anybody truly has a straight line unless something was set forth for you. Because my career path definitely was not point A to point B. There's a whole lot of a whole lot of left and right turns in there. But I did want to ask you, so when at what point did you realize soccer was like, you know what? I'm pretty damn good at this, and I think I might be able to do something with this.
Yeah, that's why I say my soccer career is very similar and parallels my reporting career, because I played every sport growing up. My parents allowed my siblings and I to try every sport. I come from a sports family, and I was heavily playing basketball, which is my family's main sport, as well as soccer. I ran track, I did swimming, I did softball, I did tennis, and soccer was my best sport. And it was the one that I found myself naturally gravitating towards, where my parents didn't have to tell me go outside and play soccer. I was just doing it. I was playing anytime I could, anywhere I could. I also found myself more confident in soccer. So basketball, I'd be nervous, jumping in with my older sisters or jumping in with other people. Soccer, didn't matter who was on the field. I wanted to play. So naturally, on the mental side, I just started leaning towards it and finding myself so comfortable with soccer that it was second nature. I was literally the kid walking around with a soccer ball attached to my foot, like juggling and kicking and stuff. Yeah. It was just every aspect of my life, for whether it was a Halloween costume or like what I wanted to do for fun. Like I always had soccer on the mind. So I definitely found myself, as I was maturing and growing, starting to realize, okay, this is a passion and a love that I've got to feed. And I've got to continue investing in that. And then, of course, as I started realizing how talented I was, which came with hard work, because I wasn't always good. But because I spent so many hours playing, it translated into my game. I was already athletic. I was already fast. I already had a lot of things that others, did not have. And I was fortunate to be born with some good genetics and sports genes. And so once I started fully tapping into that, training all the time, playing all the time, the sky was the limit at that point.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, I can imagine like a time you were playing and maybe going, like in high school or something, and kind of had this moment of realizing like I'm better than a lot of the people out here. Like I'm whipping everybody's ass out here pretty consistently. I think I'm gonna really, put some more energy into it. Especially with, the sports family. I'm sure that's very competitive, like all the time. You're like, y'all can have that basketball. I'm over here getting it in. So so translating from soccer to like doing the reporting, and I know in there you have, being an author and a speaker and all of that. At what point, or from going from PR, at what point did you feel the calling like to tug you back into the sports world, or did it never really leave you, or you know what I mean? Was there a calling like, oh man, I just want to be around competition again? Was there some moment or something that kind of drew you back into it?
Well, actually, I never left sports. So from the moment I started, I have still been in sports in some capacity my entire life, which in itself is like crazy when I think about it. But when I stopped playing, I jumped right into coaching college soccer, and I would still jump into practices and play with the team. And then during that time, I also started doing freelance writing. I was doing camera work, cable pulling, editing. I was doing any and everything I could just to get hands-on experience. So in those 2 years from 2014 to 2016, I was literally grinding. So I was coaching and still playing and working out and stuff, but I was also transitioning into reporting. So it wasn't until I finished my master's and I was able to close that chapter of coaching on the collegiate level. And I actually still coached at the youth level for up until like last year, which many people don't know. But I have always worked in sports. I don't know life without sports, honestly. Whether it's watching them, coaching them, covering them, playing them, whatever it is, sports have literally always been there. Oh yeah.
What was it like the first time you did reporting? Like, was it nerve-wracking? Were you like freaking out, or did you feel kind of just naturally going along right into something different?
It's weird because I've always been talkative, but I wasn't always outgoing.
Okay.
So like I was the kid that my parents used to actually call me WB Frog. I don't know if you remember.
I do remember.
Cartoon. Yeah, like that.
You had
was
the little
me.
top hat and the cane, and you was like,
that would like freeze when people would watch. Like that was me. So there was a running joke that like, and it started off, I was like that in soccer, where in like big pressure moments, I'd kind of freeze, but also socially where I'd get out and around other people and I'd be like so quiet and timid. But as soon as we got home, I was so I slowly became more confident of like being that all the time. And so when I first started reporting, the hardest part is I'm a perfectionist. You know, I watch myself back, I listen to myself and I'm like, oh. Yeah. And also I've been around sports so long and I actually have studied reporting, that I was studying what other reporters were doing, trying to figure out what my on-air personality was. So there were a lot of times where I was cringing looking at my own work or listening to my own work. Yeah. And it definitely just took, even when I look back now, I'm like, why was I wearing that? Why did I look like that?
Why did I say that?
I didn't even wear makeup for the first few years of reporting. I was just all natural and like whatever I thought looked good, which was not a great look. So I've come.
I'm sure it was fine.
It was like the basic button up and pants with some basic flats, like super cliche young reporter that had no idea. Yeah. But when I first started, I was not good. Again, that's why I say it parallels my soccer career, because I thought I was doing something. And when I look back, I'm like, oh, okay, I've grown.
Yeah. Look, you are not alone in that. I talk about it often about, you know, I still have my first like voiceover demos, right? And they are horrible. Like I listen to them now, like, how did anybody hire me for anything? But at the time, what? I'm like handing them out on CDs and like, listen to my demo, check this out. I thought it was the best thing ever. And then you get, you know, you mature in it, you learn more and you realize like, what the hell was I thinking back then? Like this was awful, but I keep them as a sign of that growth, right? So even though, yes, they can be very cringy, but it's kind of cool to see how much you've grown. And I mean, obviously you feel much more confident now and being able to jump into like covering swimming and diving events without having that experience before. Like now, like, all right, and action. You're like, oh, wait, all right, I'm actually doing this. So that's cool. But that's also a testament to you being able to kind of roll with it and adjust like you have in other things in your life. So kudos to you.
You know what? You know what you learn, and I'm sure you can agree with this, is you learn to kind of stick to what you know.
Right.
Like in a new space, in a new environment, when you don't have that familiarity, instead of jumping right in and trying to take on too much, like I'm not a swimming and diving expert,
right?
But I can learn. So, you know, I can pay attention, and being a sports, having the sports background that I do, it's easier for me to pick up on things. So I'm asking questions. I have no problem. And I went in definitely the first day asking questions and even leading up to it, trying to get as much information. And then even as I started, like from day 1 to day 3, because it was actually a 4-day meet, from day 1 to the final day, I'm like, okay, even now I'm like, my questions, I'm like, oh, you did this on the 500 free, you know what, you know, I'm like tossing out terms and stuff.
But I listen to the swim expert now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, when do you need me again?
Exactly.
But that's where you have that confidence of knowing, like we put in the work in those other reels. We put in the work and all those reps that you did, that now, even if I don't know something, I can think of a question. I can figure out a way to tell a story.
You know what to ask.
And know exactly what to ask. Exactly. So yeah, you learn how to navigate through.
It's so true. And the ability to have confidence in doing that and not feel like, oh, if I ask that, I don't want them to think I'm dumb, or I don't want them to know. You just roll with it and you let it go. And then you want that to be, you know, years later, like, really? That was your first time? We would have never known. You seem like a natural.
They're like, what? You were so great. I'm like, I don't think I was great, but I did enough. I survived.
There you go. All right.
Didn't go in the pool and I didn't make a fool of myself. So there we go.
I was about to say that would have been an amazing story, but that also would have been horrible if you fell in the pool. Like, now I'm curious about how many times that has happened to reporters on the side of the pool. Is it pool side? I guess you can't say sideline, right?
Side. Like I don't know. I was claiming I was the poolside reporter. I don't know.
I like it.
Right. I thought it
what
had
else can it be?
Chilling poolside. Like, I thought it had a good rhyme to it. Honestly,
I like it.
I imagine, because I think of like football, like every sport I've covered at some point either got hit or almost got hit.
Right.
And so I feel like it's the casualty of being the poolside reporter / sideline reporter is that you are most likely at one point going to get got
splashed, or at least, right?
Oh, I definitely got splashed. Well, the thing is, there's, as you have probably ever been to a pool, there's not a lot of space around there.
Yeah.
So there's nowhere to actually stand where you're in the clear. So you have to be in the mix. And even the one sideline hit, they were like, how about you stand? There's like the strip that runs between the two pools.
Okay.
Like the practice pool where they do their laps and then the main pool. And they're like, why don't you stand there for this hit? And I'm like, nah. I'm good.
Yeah,
and I know how to swim and everything. Like, I'm not worried about physically falling. But I'm
you just don't
want
to end up a meme
falling.
or whatever. Yeah.
I'd rather not be in the pool. But even as I was going through, if I got $1 for every time I said a joke about me falling in the pool in the course of those few days, I made a lot of money.
Yeah.
But I definitely, that honestly was the scariest part of the entire experience.
Like, just don't fall in the pool.
There's water everywhere, and you're stepping and you're moving, and like, hey, can you go grab this, or can you grab this? Like, I got it. Yep. Excuse me.
I'm just gonna take very deliberate steps.
Yep. I'm just grabbing people as I walk by. Like, if I go down, you're going down too.
We're all getting in this water, baby.
People are like moving around because they're fine with it. They're moving around and like, whoa, I'm coming through. Don't move. Don't want me.
Don't you move. Because I promise you're getting in this water too.
Oh yeah, I had it planned out. If I was to fall, what I would do.
See, I never thought about that.
Oh yeah.
And that's hilarious. Now I want to see somebody fall in the pool. You just ruined it. I need to see somebody go in.
I am sure it has to have happened. There's no way. There's
going to YouTube after this to find somebody falling in the pool. That's funny. Like, seriously, I'm going to look for that. And so the last question of this first half of the show is, right, you got your 3-time All-American, you've got your authoring, you've got your podcast also, which I was honored to be a guest on a little while back, so thank you for that. You have your wellness and empowerment initiative, you have your reporting. So which of these accomplishments would you say you're most proud of, or you're most happy about being able to have done?
I would definitely say Planted Not Buried is definitely my leading one, because it's something that when I first started and had this vision of what I wanted my career to look like, it was confusing. People, like, I remember sharing and actually having several conversations. I want to be a sports reporter. I want to write a book. I want to meet LeBron James. I want to create a platform where I have the opportunity to give a voice to the voiceless. I have done some of those, so I have not. LeBron.
Yeah, I was gonna say, LeBron, what's up?
Nah, like,
make it
happen. It's happening. We're getting closer. But the thing is, I kept getting told it's not possible. You're dreaming too big. You're trying to do too much. You're trying to take on the world. And the one person that supported me was my mom, and said, you can do whatever you want. I was like, I want to
shout out, Mom.
Yeah, I was like, I want to change the world. And my mom was like, you can do whatever you want. I believe in you. Because the biggest thing for me is I've learned so much about myself. Like I told you, I was shy, I was timid, I was insecure, I had low self-esteem. I had all the cliche struggles that, kids, especially girls, go through. Right. And especially Black girls go through. And so to get to this point was that reassurance that if I can do this and overcome all those demons, I can do whatever stands in my way. So without a doubt, building my own, you can't say I got here because I'm pretty, because I'm an All-American, because I was good at soccer, because I know somebody. You can't say I built this for any reason other than the fact that I built this, Right. And I take pride in that, because although all the other accomplishments are great, I said to myself that I want to use my other areas to help build my own business. So the books that I'm writing, the work that I do as a reporter, my sports career, all these things will feed into my credibility as a business owner, as someone that's creating this platform to empower, educate, and inspire. So it was kind of like that final point for me of like, this is the ultimate goal, but I knew the other achievements were stepping stones. So to be here 6 years in is like, even though the business is not booming, I'm not able to live off of it,
Yeah,
or make any money at all for that matter. But it exists. It's an idea. It's in fruition. We're having conversations around it. This is something I literally have in my notebooks where I was writing out and planning for years. Honestly, longer than I was a reporter that I've been wanting to do this. So it's definitely the biggest moment for me, that surreal moment to see that dream come into fruition, knowing that I laid out steps to get here. And not only did I get here, but I still have a knock on wood. God, I still have time. I'm still young. Like it didn't take me 30 years. I'm 29 years old and have launched my own business. So, well, a couple businesses. So that in itself is like empowering to me, like, okay, what's next? What else can I do? This is what I was able to accomplish. So definitely.
You know what? We're going to do a Zoom fist bump on that one. Give me some. Boom. Yes. I love it. All right. Well, look, you know what? I will say, I love your story. I think it's very inspiring, and I think it is a message to everyone, in particular, yes, for women of color to be inspired and feel the freedom and the power to do what they want to do, right, their own way. But just for anyone to really, not be afraid of taking a right turn when you thought it was going to be a left, or trying this out when other people say, yeah, you're doing too much. Because believe me, doing, having this show and doing my VO thing and VO Life Clothing and all of the other things that I'm involved in, while also being a husband and a father, believe me, I heard some like, maybe you need to pump the brakes a little bit, but I got one trip on this planet. I'm trying to make the most of it. You know what I mean? So I love it. I think you're doing a great job of empowering others, whether you realize it or not. So again, kudos to you for that.
Thank you.
And
Same
now,
to you.
well, you know what? I'll take it. Thank you. Now, going from something that's very serious, now we're going to get a little silly, because it's time to spin
the wheel of what?
And we're going to bring
That's why I took my sweater off, because I'm nervous.
Oh, goodness. All right. So I'm going to spin this bad boy, and whatever it lands on, you have to answer honestly. All right. You ready to do this?
How many things are on this wheel? How many options are there?
I think that's 6. It's not too bad.
Just curious my chances of getting certain things.
Oh my goodness. She's like
I'm
calculating.
The percentage.
See, that perfectionism is coming through.
I'm like, okay.
Let's see. I have a 33% chance. All right.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm already there.
All right. So we're gonna spin this and put all of those calculations to bed. All right. So you ready? Let's go.
Virgo in me. I can't help it.
World record. Okay.
Body part.
We can do body part also.
I'm like reading the board.
Yeah, like, wait a minute.
What's on there? Wait a minute.
Look, they're all ridiculous. But all right. So world record is, if you could create or beat a world record in anything, what would it be? Or something that you feel, if you had an opportunity to, you could create a new world record in. And it doesn't have to be something that like really exists. It can be something ridiculous if you want.
I would love to have a world record. I have to add that to my list of things to try to do. Find
You're
one
welcome.
I can actually do. Yeah, this is inspiring me right now. Maybe that's what's next. Being a Guinness Book of World Record. I feel like naturally the first thing that's come to my mind, I got to go with this. I'm so competitive, and you don't want to play a game with me. I would love to have the world record for like unbeaten streak. This is so cocky and so bad, but this is where my head clicked. Like, whatever. I'm just gonna stay with it. I started this. I'm gonna continue with it.
Go with it.
Oh, either that or something chapstick related, because I'm very big into chapstick. Like
owning most chapstick
or something. Like I have chapsticks. I just found this one. I have chapsticks stashed everywhere. So maybe actually, instead of me being cocky and trying to beat everybody in like board games, I'm gonna go with something chapstick related, like most.
Can't put the toothpaste back in the tube.
Chapsticks, like shortest amount of time. No, that's weird. Most chapsticks owned like in life.
Okay. Yeah. You're gonna start up like a chapstick museum, show off your collection.
Yeah, I mean, I really do have. I probably could find. I probably could find some I have chapstick stashed everywhere because there's nothing worse than chapped lips.
Oh my goodness. I think now I'm self-conscious.
It's okay. I'll just.
Oh. I'm gonna go back to this
I don't
world
know
record.
how that would be a thing, but I'm on my mind. Whatever. We're thinking outside the box.
I want to know what you want to have an unbeaten streak in.
Oh, pick a game. Pick a game. Phase 10. I play this game called Panic. I like Rummy. I like Spades. Pick a game. I will have the unbeaten streak in that game. And I'm the type that does not leave the game table until I win. And I need to win a few times.
You need to win. Not one is not, because one could be a fluke, right?
No, that could be a fluke. No. I need to be like, I like to play where we play multiple times and we have like an overall winner. Like you won the most, and that's me. So I'm winning that record. Along with my chapstick of in the course of an hour, winning the most games. Bam.
Winning the most games. You know what? At some point, I might have to, at some point we might have to make this happen, that you and I compete in something.
Pick it. I'll be there.
And see, because I'm not like expert pro level, but I'm pretty good at foosball.
I have a foosball table in my house.
Yeah, me too. I'm like 10 feet away from one.
Okay, let's go.
So I mean, I got that. I got air hockey. I got one of those basketball shoot 'em games. Okay. But yeah, the foosball at some point is going down. And then we probably hate each other after that, because I'm very competitive too. But okay.
I'm a fighter. I will fight. I used to, I will say used to, because I don't anymore. I used to cry every time I lost. And not just in board games, soccer games. It was awful.
When you say used to, you mean like 2 months ago? Like
yeah.
I
don't cry anymore. I don't cry anymore.
Yeah,
I definitely, even in college, when we didn't lose, I didn't lose that much. That's why. See, that's the trick of it all. I used to cry when I lost, but I didn't lose that much. So when I did, I was bawling my eyes out.
It hurts. Oh my goodness.
College, I was like 21 years old, still crying.
Just crying. Hey, look, losing sucks. I mean, there's no way around it. I mean, you learn from losing, but there's no moral victories. You just get that.
I'm just passionate,
That's what it is. Passion. It's passion, not sore loser. It's passion, people.
It's 1,000% both, but yeah, I'm completely a sore loser. I will be
love
so
your
petty.
honesty.
I will be so, like, my family loves and hates playing games with me, and I don't care. I will openly be that person because I like to win.
You know what else? Like, what's the game? Like catchphrase or
I'm a great word game person because I feel like I'm very like I play word games all the time.
Well, so like taboo or like catchphrase.
Did you say Tetris?
No, I said taboo.
Oh, I thought you said Tetris and I was saying Tetris, and I was getting a little weirded out that we were on the same page. But taboo is the game. Gestures. Okay. I'm a gamer. I'm a gamer, not a video gamer, a board gamer.
I know that we're not able to do this right now, but you're firing me up right now. Like seriously, Renee, like this. I'm like, woo, about to get these taboo.
What? This is probably one of those secret things that a lot of people don't know about me, is that I grew up in a family where like I wasn't going out on Friday nights. We were playing board games. But like we weren't just playing, we were playing. Like it was competitive. It was
like I might not talk to my own brother for 2 weeks.
Like, we might end up fighting, and I probably will hit below the belt and say something I shouldn't, or vice versa. But the next day will be fine.
Okay.
So that's why I all into sports, because I was the same way. I've been the same way in games.
I love how that like this world record thing took a complete turn. And just since you're curious, the body part question is, if you had a body part that you could detach, which would it be and why?
This is actually an easy one.
Is it an easy one? I gotta hear it now. You can't tease it and not say what body part you'd like to take.
What would you lose? A finger? Like you could go without some fingers or toes. You can definitely go without a leg or an arm. You need your organs, some of them. But although I don't know if this counts as a body part. Hair? Can I go? I mean, I could technically go bald. I hate the struggle of hair more than anything in this world. And the amount of times that you know what? Can I just get on my soapbox? Let me just sit on my soapbox real quick.
Here you go. Soapbox.
The amount of times, like my hair looks decent right now. It'll look okay when I'm not on camera. It'll look fantastic when when I'm not on camera. And then I'll get on camera and something will just be like chilling, doing its own thing. And I'm like, hair, you let me down again.
Like really hair? I thought we talked about this.
All the time.
That's why I wear a hat for all of these.
Curl and color. And I will literally get on camera. I'm like, oh, you got me again. I now am so probably, if anybody ever watches me when I'm covering a game or doing a show, I probably look psychotic because of the amount of times I'm like checking myself, looking at my hair. Because it just has gotten me so many times. I was interviewing Kara Lawson, the Duke women's basketball coach, the legendary Kara Lawson. And I was like so excited. Now my hair didn't look awful, but I'm like, it could have looked better. It definitely could have looked better. So I would cut all this off. I don't think I could pull off bald, but I would in a heartbeat. Take
off the hair.
Oh yeah.
I was not expecting that, but I can dig it.
Do you get braids? Do you have weave? Do you go natural? My natural hair is even worse. It's a sponge. I
love how this became a rant about hair.
Oh my gosh. For anybody that has hair, you understand.
That's why I wear a hat for every episode, because I'm not dealing with it. Because sometimes my hair being like mixed, my mom is black, my dad's white, and my hair is like a weird mixture of different parts. It's crazy. So I just put a hat on for all the interviews. So
I have a small head. I don't look great in all hats, you know.
Well, I have a huge head, so there we go. It's humongous. I don't even know how this is staying on right now. All right, that was a crazy tangent. Let's get back on track. But that is hilarious.
Winning my world record.
There we go. And you know what? And I think your chapstick one, you might have a real shot at.
Right. I'm ready. Like,
you ready to go?
Why not? Hold up.
Because you haven't played me yet. That's why.
Oh, I had a feeling there was a jab coming in. Cool. I like this energy that you're bringing. I like this. Good.
It's my show, so I figured I might as well. I'll probably regret it at some point later, but for now, I'm talking some trash. So now we come to the second half of the show, and that is you answering the question, how the hell did I get here? And this would be a story about something that you were a part of or happened to you, an event, an occurrence that really made you look at yourself or think to yourself, all right, Renee, how the hell did I get here? So what would your story be for how in the hell did I get here?
The time I lost my chapstick and a game in the same day. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh man, it's like worst day ever.
It looked the best. You know what? I don't even know if I could pick just one for sure. But you know how I definitely, when I look back on those prime years of high school,
okay,
and I think about where I'm at today, and I'm like, okay, I like to reflect. I like to look back. There's like actually two major things that jump out. There's high school, because of the fact that I was in that serious awkward transition and was trying to like come out of that WB frog mode, but was still very shy, super insecure, low self-esteem because I never had a boyfriend. And like I was popular, but I wasn't popular. And I struggled with that terribly. Yeah. And it's crazy because I remember sports were always my outlet.
Right.
A spot where it didn't matter. Like I didn't have to worry about any of the external factors. I didn't have to worry about, the fact that I was a size 00 and I was 5'9" and my teeth were awful and I was low none of that mattered when I was scoring goals, right. When I was winning games, when I was playing soccer, when I was playing basketball, when I was running track. So sports were my outlet. And so it's crazy because that just kind of steamrolled. And I've always had sports as my fallback. Of course, now in the sense of reporting, where I, when in doubt, when things are going wrong, when I'm like questioning things, I'm like, you know what? This is that consistent. This is what I can control. I can make sure that when lights, camera, action, I'm going to do my best. Right. So it's interesting because I've accomplished a lot in my life and I'm definitely aware of that. But it's those accomplishments that actually keep me going. I talk about how competitive I am, but it's the fact that like when I accomplish one thing, I'm like, oh, this is great, but somebody else is over there accomplishing that. Let me go try to accomplish more. Like I want to keep going and I want to keep competing, whether that's in physical sports or in the sports of like the competition of life. And the full irony is when I was like, I want to say, because my brother was born, so I was probably like 4th grade-ish. My family went to the museum down in DC, and they had this reporting thing. And it was I have a picture of it actually. And you got to dress up as a reporter. So I put on the big oversized blazer again. I'm like 9 years old. And we had to read a teleprompter. And my 2 older sisters read the teleprompter and were just fine. And then WB Frog gets up there and was awful at the teleprompter. I cried naturally. I didn't finish. I was whining. I was a hot mess. And I'm not gonna lie, I may or may not still be salty about that to this day. Possibly need to go back to the museum one of these days and redo that.
Like, look, I was here a few years ago and I have to rectify something, damn it. Like, okay, lady. Like all the kids, it's like 9-year-olds and you, like, I'm waiting. I brought my own blazer. I don't need your stinking blazer, but I'm next, kids.
And I wrote my own script.
Yeah, I brought my own script. Welcome back here to the field. So you being in a position, but I mean, think about that. That's like kind of sweet revenge on whatever made you kind of freeze up back then. That like people are paying you to do that now, and you do it well enough that people are willing to put you out there and represent their brand. So round of applause.
Look at you. Circle moment that now I am able to, I've overcome and conquered those fears, but also even worked with those mental hurdles, like 9-year-old me, the high school me. Of course, there were so many mental hurdles. I'm just giving you 2 main ones, but there were so many that I worked through. Even the fact that I didn't have a job at one point and I didn't know where my next meal was coming from. Like there's a lot of hurdles that I've overcome. So when I'm like, dang, how did I get here? Like I find myself asking that all the time, which is why I love that you have that as your show theme and name, because I'm always like, I'm not supposed to be here. My whole Hall of Fame speech was exactly that. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not. Yeah. There were so many things that were supposed to trip me up along the way. I should have been scarred from that 9-year-old museum experience and never wanted to be on screen again. But here I am. I
love that the wound is still not completely healed. Oh man, actually, let me check their hours. When are they open tomorrow?
I think I literally have that picture on my phone. Like as a favorite. I do, and by I know I do. It's motivation.
I think I might have it. Actually, it's here. It's on the.
It's my background.
Yeah, it's my background. It's everyone that calls me. Yes, it comes up. That is fantastic. And you know what? That's valid. I mean, if you think about where you are now compared to that moment, and a number of any moments that could have completely steered you in a different direction. I can see how that'd be like, wow, how the hell did I get here? Like I'm holding the mic with ESPN on it. I'm covering swimming and diving and all that stuff. And by the way, really quickly, our connection with, which is now Washington Commanders, but the Washington football team, that you had been doing some work for them as well. And I was their radio voice for this past season. Hopefully they bring me back for the Commanders inaugural season. So I wanted to point that out, that we kind of had that kind of connection as well.
Yeah, we have had our circles have overlapped many times, like a Venn diagram.
I love it.
And I am so appreciative that I was able to have you on my show. I actually just shut down my show. I don't know if I will ever bring it back because I've got some other things in the works and I had to prioritize and kind of refocus. And
hey, look, you're busy these days. You're doing some big things, so
Yeah. Again, how the hell did I get here? I don't know. There's a lot of things I'm doing right now that there was a time I was not even doing, even down to smiling. Like there are so many things. I don't take these things for granted because there was a time that all the things I have right now, I prayed for, I wanted, and I'm living it. So there are some exciting things in the works for sure, but I'm excited that we've had the chance to, throughout our careers, just kind of
intersect. Yeah. So before I let you go, I want to give you this opportunity to plug anything you've got going on, especially Planted Not Buried, if you like, and where people can find you on social media or on TV, or if there's any like sporting events you got coming up. let the people know.
Yeah, grab your phones, grab a pen or paper, grab your chapstick, listen up.
Grab the chapstick. Gotta have the chapstick.
No, on all seriousness, thank you again. I really do appreciate it. I have a lot of exciting things that I'm working on right now. And so Planted Not Buried is in the process. We've got events every month that we're doing. They are free. They are virtual. We actually have an event this month around for small business owners specifically. So to be able to talk through resources, advice, tips, and things like that. And as well as even to just network. So everything that we're doing is easy to find. Planted Not Buried on social media at Planted NB, our website's plantednb.com. And then also for me, all of my stuff is easy as well. Renee P. Washington, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, my website, reneepwashington.com. And that's where you'll be able to catch everything. So once you follow me one place, it's like Pandora's box.
Oh, you everywhere.
Because I've got a lot of great things in the works, including my first book that I'll be dropping shortly.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Awesome. Well, congratulations for that. Congratulations on everything you've got going on. And I know we haven't known each other that long, but I guess it's been a couple of years now.
Made it through the pandemic. It's been long. Okay.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, because that's like 7 regular years, 2020. But truly proud of everything you've accomplished and your growth, and just excited to see what you've got next, even if that includes losing to me in foosball at some point.
I don't. Like, I either win or I'm like destroying the game. Like, there's no, like, we're not.
Look, you work for ESPN. You can afford to buy me a new table. So I'm
not gonna lie.
Okay.
Like, when it comes to games, this is probably why I've been struggling to, like, in the dating world and friends, because my family's the only one that, like, they can't get rid of me. Because if I'm losing, I'm like, I'm gonna blow things up. Like, that's it.
Maybe some therapy. I'm just putting it out there. Maybe some therapy. And also maybe in the dating game, stay away from anything that involves competition, at least until you guys are solidified the bond. Like, no first dates, like axe throwing or mini golf.
Marry me and have like a child on the way, because that might be the only way. No, I'm getting better. It's totally fine.
It's all good.
Everything's fine.
I'm glad you were able to spend this time with me. I had a good time. I hope you did as well. And yes, thank you for being here. And I wish you all the best in everything you've got going on. And to everyone out there, thank you for watching the How Did Show. And stay tuned for the next episode, howdidshow.com. And until then, just have a great day. Peace. What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me and having some fun as we interview some really, really interesting people. So go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, and be on the lookout for more episodes of The How Did Show.